The Champions League final is set, guys. It is finally set. Now, before I even go into anything that I want to say about these last two games, these last 2 weeks, I want to first say this new format, I like it. I like it because it gives every team almost an equal opportunity. You can't just bully the weaker teams. You can't just take games off. We can't just, after the fourth or fifth game in the group stage, you can't just stop playing. You have to play every single game to the end. So I like this new format. And at the end of the day, three of the teams in the semifinals were, I think, three of the top four teams in the group phase. I believe it was Liverpool, Barca, might be Arsenal, and Inter, somewhere in that order, right? So the top four teams did make it. The top three of the top four teams made it to the semifinals. So the best teams will always still make it, but it just makes it a little bit more interesting. Now to talk about the games. I had predicted Barca PSG final. We're not getting that. We're getting Inter and PSG. Now, starting with the Inter and Barca game, or games, tie. I had said that Barcelona's attack would be irresistible. I don't know who can stop them. And them scoring 6 goals proves that nobody can stop them. But them conceding 7 goals also proves that they can't stop anybody. This attack. I love Hansi Flick's style of football. Attack. High line, aggressive, pressing, counter pressing. It's all good. But when you come against teams that are maybe not as talented, but have talent, have experience, you can't go so gung-ho against these teams. They'll figure out a way to split you open. And although I said a Barca PSG final would be the most, appealing, would be the most open, with the most attacking, I'm actually starting to think this Inter PSG game is going to be a little bit more of that as well. It's going to be, because one thing that I've noticed about PSG is they give you chances. They give you chances to score. Inter is a team that can take those chances. But in the Barca-Inter tie, one thing I noticed, especially with Inter, is even though they play that defensive style of football, they can always score. They can always score. Against PSG, they're going to have to play that kind of football, because I don't think they can go toe-to-toe with PSG. PSG is even more athletic than Barcelona. So they can't go toe-to-toe. They have to sit back and soak up pressure. And I don't know how they're going to break either. But before I even go into final prediction, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the semifinals. Barcelona proved that team that they have is here to stay for many years. As long as they have Pedri, as long as they have Lamine Yamal, as long as they have Kubarsi, as long as they have Balde, Koundé is still reasonably young. They have a good core team there to challenge for many years. Lamine Yamal in this tie proved to me. I didn't need to see it in this tie. I've already thought of it for the last couple months. But he's the best player in the world. Pure talent, he's the best player in the world. And then it's a chance creation machine. Whether it's him shooting, whether it's him dribbling, whether it's him assisting, whether it's him attracting 3 players so that his teammates have open opportunities, he's just a chance creation machine. And to me, the best player in the world. He's still 17. So when people talk about the GA and, he hasn't scored as many goals as he should, he's still 17. He's still figuring things out. He's going to get to that point where you see him get 20 goals, 20 assists per season. On the trajectory that he's on, he's gonna produce more and more goals moving forward. The assist and creation part, I think, is already world class. It's already there. Now it's to work on this finishing and just become more comfortable on both feet. But he's getting there. The high line with Hansi Flick, I talked about in my prediction of these semis. I said the one thing that would kill Barcelona is this high line. And time and time again, it killed them. The amount of times Denzel Dumfries, who for me was the MVP of these entire semis in both ties. I believe 2 goals, 3 assists over the 2 legs. Responsible for 5 of your team's 7 goals. So he's my MVP. The amount of times he was in behind and just putting balls for Thuram, putting balls for Lautaro. Imagine Hakimi in that position. Imagine Dembele or Kvaratskhelia or Doué. Like, that high line is a problem because they don't have, especially when you don't have Balde, you don't have Kunde in your back line, playing the exact same style of play of football. You have to adapt to your surroundings. You have to adapt to your circumstances. I'm not the one to sit here and tell Hansi Flick how to coach his team, but you have to adapt. You don't have the pace of Balde. You don't have the defensive brilliance of Kunde on the other side. You have to adapt to what's happening to your team. And I don't think he did that in this. I think he just sent his team out to dominate the ball, which they always do. It's Barcelona, it's Hansi Flick. They'll always dominate. They'll always create chances. They'll always score goals. But I don't think he gave enough respect to what Inter could do to his team off the ball. And I think that cost them. Especially when Rafinha scores that goal to take them up, was it 6-5 in the tie overall. And then how is Acerbi getting a goal? How is Acerbi scoring that goal? You look at other teams. If that's Arteta, if that's Enrique, if that's Slot, if that's other managers, they're not still pushing, pressing, leaving a high. You gotta play to your surroundings. I think that cost them because once that game went into extra time, man. And I would have thought that Inter, the old legs, aging team, they would have struggled in extra time. It was Barcelona that struggled in extra time. They struggled to create. Rafinha was non-existent. Rafinha did nothing for 85 minutes, scored his goal, and then did nothing for 30 minutes. And when people talk about, we don't want to give Rafinha this Ballon d'Or, I kind of see it because he has too many games where he just does nothing and then goal. Does nothing and then goal or assist, which is great. But when your team, that was all Yamal. Yamal and Pedri were the only two guys in the Barcelona's attack that were doing anything the entire game, start to finish. It was only them two. Where are you to help the team? Nothing. Gerard Martin on the left side did exponentially more than Rafinha in that game. Him, Pedri, and Yamal are the only three Barcelona players that can hold their heads up high after that performance and say, okay, we gave it our all. So I think there were so many players in that team that let Barcelona down. But if Balde's playing, if Koundé's playing, if Lewandowski's playing, I think things might go differently. I think Barcelona wins this tie. Right? Key injuries at the worst possible time. We saw Thuram and Dumfries coming back at the perfect time for Inter Milan. And those two guys were pivotal in both legs. Thuram obviously scored in the first leg. Dumfries scored an assist in the first leg. Thuram hold up play, driving with the ball in the second leg. Dumfries assist in the second leg. Key players. Imagine Balde in that team being able to recover and track down Dumfries. Imagine Koundé in that team. I know Eric Garcia scores, but Barcelona was seriously hamstrung in that game, in the entire tie. But overall, I don't think either team played exceptionally better than the other team. I think anybody who went to the final, we would have said good job to that team. Nobody outplayed anybody in that leg, and in those two legs. But Inter moving on to the final, and it's deserved. They scored more goals, so they deserve to go to the final. Now, Arsenal, PSG. Before this tie kicked off, I said it when I was predicting. I said Arsenal are not as good as PSG. PSG is winning this tie, and I'm confident in saying that. I wasn't confident about Barca Inter, but I was confident in saying PSG are winning this tie because they're just better. It's not a case of, and it's not, even though they're a young team, Arsenal don't have the experience at the high level either. So they also had no advantages in this tie. Maybe the defense, but we saw what PSG did to them on several occasions. They opened them up at ease. So this tie, Arsenal had great chances in the first and second legs, but what has killed Arsenal throughout the season is the lack of finishing. The lack of finishing. No center forward, and just generally players that don't finish at a high level. You look at Martinelli in those chances, if that's Kvaratskhelia, if that's Doué, if that's Dembele, Those are goals. Those are goals. Saka, obviously, he scores. And he's unfortunate with the missed chance. You know, the ball gets flung in. I think it was Trossard. I can't remember who it was, but it gets flung in. And Donnarumma distracts him at the last second, kind of just takes his eye off the ball. If Donnarumma doesn't reach for that ball like that, I think Saka scores that 3-2, and then who knows what happens from there. Saka, the only attacker, yet again, the only attacker for Arsenal Football Club that actually produces when it matters most. Martinelli, nothing. And as long as Martinelli is your starting left winger, he will continue to give you nothing. We've seen this for many years with him. We'll continue to see this. This is just who he is. He's not that level. Odegaard, yeah, he was hot in the first 10-15 minutes, absent the rest of the game. Typical Odegaard. Declan Rice, okay game, not really giving you nothing. Merino, nothing. Nobody except Saka on that pitch did something for Arsenal. And that's the story of their entire season. If Saka is not carrying us, who is doing anything? Nobody is. On the other side, you look at Dembele didn't play the first half. I think it was the 60th minute or 70th minute. But you still have Doué, you still have Barcola, you still have Kvaratskhelia, people that can do things. Hakimi at right back. Hakimi at right back would be Arsenal's second best attacker. Hakimi at right back would be Arsenal. Nuno Mendes at left back would be Arsenal's second best attacker. Barcola, Kvaratskhelia, Doué would all be Arsenal's second or first best attackers. You see how this of the 7 best attackers in that game, 1 is Arsenal's. The rest are PSG. So I did not believe for 1 second that they were going to get back into this tie and get to the final. I didn't. Donnarumma, once again, a great performance. That's a great performance against all the English teams now. After all the stick he's gone for years about just crumbling at the biggest moment, he's had a great couple months. Marquinhos, I mean, we know what Marquinhos is. We've known this for years. He's not going to change who he is. We've seen it. Well, I don't know what he's doing for that goal, but it's embarrassing defending. PSG. And they didn't play an exceptional game. They just played a balanced game. When the chances came, they took their chances. And that's what good teams do. They take chances when it comes to them. They don't have to dominate. They don't have to hold possession. They don't have to do it. When it's time to put the ball in the back of the net, they do it. I will say this, though. That penalty, I'm glad he missed it because that was an injustice. He's not even looking. Luis Kelly's not looking at the ball. He's not trying to make his arm any bigger. He's just, you just turn and you try to block a shot. So I think that was a joke, and I'm glad it was saved because they didn't deserve to score that penalty. So overall, PSG deserved this by far. I think they outperformed Arsenal. And now we look at the final. Look towards the final. I'm going to make a video about the final prediction and how I can kind of see things going tactically, who I think the key players will be in the final, and who I think will ultimately win the final. But this semis, I was scared that we would not get the same entertainment that we got from Barca Inter yesterday. We definitely got that with PSG Arsenal today. It was definitely an entertaining game. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Leave a like on the video. Leave a comment on the semis and what you think is going to happen in the final. Let's hear you guys' thoughts. And I'll see you in 17 days. See you guys soon. Bye.